Hello, my name is Jason Bowman, and today I will be talking about how gender or gender stereotypes are used in the film Billy Elliot. My partner for this project, Kaylin, discussed the plot and some general aspects of how gender is used in this film. What I would like to talk about today is how different characters are shown through this gender stereotype kind of lens. This movie came out in the year 2000. It was directed by Mr. Stephen Daldry, and it stars Jamie Bell, who plays the character Billy Elliot. Um, this movie takes place in 1984 during the British mining strike, which is a huge part of the movie. I'll talk about that a little bit later when I talk about the characters. But yeah, so we're just gonna go into some of the main characters that I feel uh, have a huge shift while the movie goes on. So first we have the main character, which is Billy Elliot. Um, like I said, this movie begins in 1984, where Billy is taking boxing classes. He goes there every week and he pays 50 pence, his father's 50 pence, to for boxing lessons. Um, it's very known at the very beginning that Billy is just not a boxer. He's constantly being taken down by the other guys. Even while he's punching the punching bag, it's just not working out for him. Um, and one day during class, he sees this ballet class come in, and he gets really interested. He actually leaves boxing to go practice ballet, and it kind of starts these chain of events of um, him practicing ballet and trying to get away from what his father thinks is the right thing for uh, guys to do, which is obviously boxing. Um, at the very beginning, Billy is constantly trying to hide that he's going to his classes. One, I believe that for because his father is paying for boxing classes and he's giving these 50 pence. Um, and so I think he doesn't want to, one, embarrass his dad, uh, but two, doesn't want him to think that he's cheating his father from paying for these boxing classes when he's really going to ballet classes. I also feel that Billy, at the very beginning of this movie, when he starts going to these classes, he is also kind of struggling with himself because he sees all these guys at these boxing classes, and he's the only guy trying to dance ballet, and I think it's something that he really struggles with because he's not sure why it interests him so much, and he even has a scene later with the ballet teacher, Mrs. Wilkinson, where he's basically just he keeps messing up the dance, he keeps messing up, and he just you know yells at her, and basically I think that that scene really shows that he isn't fully confident where he is. He thinks that what he's doing is the wrong is wrong, and he's trying to hide it from his dad, and that's what makes it so realistic, I believe, because like he's trying to hide who he is and what he's doing from his family, who is trying to support him but doesn't fully understand him. And I'll talk about that a little later. One of these scenes that I think really shows Billy's motivation for this movie is towards the end, when he's talking to uh, the Royal Ballet School. They ask him why he likes to dance, or they ask him all these questions, and he just doesn't have a good answer for him. They ask him what interests him about ballet. He just says, "I don't know. It just interests me." But they ask him why does he like to dance, and he gives this answer that just says about how he feels like a bird. He feels like he's free, and he feels like he can actually tell his story through ballet. And I just think that's his moment of understanding that this is something that is really important to him, and something that even though his family might not support him, he still believes that that's what he wants to do. And I think that's a really important scene for him because it really shows who he is and why he's doing this. The next character I want to talk about is Billy's dad, Jackie Elliott. Jackie is a miner, and he's on the front lines of the strike with his oldest son, Tony. Um, Once he first finds out about the ballet dancing, he says no, and he freaks out, he yells, and he takes him out of the classes. Um, and I think at this point, he feels lied to because Billy's supposed to be at boxing classes and he's at these ballet classes. But I think he doesn't. I think this is the moment where he understands that, or he doesn't understand his son. Um, he's mostly with his older son Tony, who's also front lines on the mining strike, which I'll talk about that a little later. But he doesn't really understand Billy, and I think the whole movie is him trying to see who his son really is. There's a scene that I think really notices his shift. Um, there's a scene where Billy is dancing with his one friend Michael, and they're just having fun, good old time. And then his dad finds him, and he's he stands there like a rock. He has no emotion, and I think he just doesn't know what to do. And Billy dances for him. He dances all around the gymnasium, and I think at that moment, his dad, I don't want to say understands, but he gets it. He gets that it's important to his son. He might not understand like why or why he's doing it or anything like that, but he gets why it's so important to him. After that scene, he runs to the teacher and asks like what he can do to help. And he actually quits the strike, or he ends the strike for himself, and he goes to work in the mines to get money so that he can pay for Billy to go to this ballet school. Um, and the second half of the movie, after he like starts to understand, he actually is helping Billy as much as he can, supporting him financially, helping him for like dances, even though he can't dance. Um, he's just doing all he can to be that supportive father. Uh, Jackie is a really interesting character because I think he really represents that, oh, guys don't cry. And many scenes in this throughout this movie, you see him let out this emotion. He tries to be the stoic figure who is tough on his son, but he loves him. But there's those moments that he has to let that emotion out. And I think that's really important to breaking that gender stereotypes of this movie. Like I said before, this scene where I think Jackie starts to understand or starts to get why Billy is so adamant about dancing. I think that's a really important scene for him, and I really enjoyed it. Um, I'll talk about this in a little later. But yeah, the third character I wanted to talk about was Tony Elliott, which is the older brother. He's out like the very beginning. He's often looked at as like the antagonistic older brother. He's always bullying. He's always bullying Billy. Pushing him around. All that kind of stuff. And uh, immediately when he finds out about the dancing, uh, he is on the same path as his dad. Doesn't agree with it. Has no idea about it. Um, he also begins to understand like why it's important to Billy, but it takes him a long time. He does not get it for a while. Um, he supports his brother obviously, but he just it's from afar. He still has conflicts. He still doesn't quite get it. Um, he when Billy spoiler alert, when Billy gets accepted to this ballet school, he's excited for him, but he still just is does he supports it, but he's not it's not for him. And then to uh, when Billy leaves to go to the school, and there's a whole scene about him gunning the bus, and that I think that's really when Tony understands like this is his brother, and this is something that is beyond important to him, and that he should have been the one to support him, and he didn't. And I think it goes into the last scene because there's a bit of a time shift where it actually shows Billy performing for the ballet school, and they're doing the Swan Lake, and they get off the train, him and his dad, and Tony is the one that's like so excited. He's running to the ticket booth, running to get his seats. He's beyond excited to be at this performance. Uh, his dad, he understands but like the dad fully understands when he's at that performance, watching his son dance. It's a beautiful moment because it really makes you feel it really makes you feel like supported. It makes you feel that you see that Jackie is really understanding where his son's coming from. And I think it's a beautiful scene. I think in general, I think this movie did a really good job of talking about these gender stereotypes. At the very beginning, all the guys are, practicing boxing, all the girls are practicing ballet, and I think it really shows um, that we have like these preconceived notions that guys can only, do sports and or girls can only do dance and sing, all like the fine arts kind of stuff. Um, it's kind of more realistic to me because I actually kind of went through something like this, not as extreme, but when I was younger, I played baseball. I wasn't really, I just, I liked it, but I wasn't really into it. And then I started doing dance, and um, I realized that I was the only guy in these dancing troops and all that, and I got made fun of it when I was in school. Um, so I quit. But I think it's interesting. It's something that kind of affected me when I was younger, and like I said, but I think it's something that affects a lot of people. Not allowing people to, be themselves, and I think that's really what we're talking about when we're trying to break these kind of gender norms. So that is all for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I highly encourage you to watch this movie. It was amazing, and I absolutely loved it. Um, so yeah, I think you would really enjoy it. I think it does a really good job to kind of get away from these gender stereotypes that we have lived with our entire lives. So thank you.